Hi, I'm Jude from headfi.org. Don't adjust your audio. I've lost part of my voice. Sorry for the way I sound. But anyways, we're here with part 2 of the CanJam SoCal 2015 preview coverage. Give you a little preview of some of what's coming at CanJam SoCal 2015. All right, guys, I'm going to need you to do me a quick favor. I'm going to need you to stop staring at the HiFiMan HE1000 over there. I see you staring at it, and I know that's what you want me to start with. But HiFiMan's going to be coming to CanJam SoCal with other stuff, of course. And I want to cover just a few of those things, so I need you to stop staring over there, pay attention to me just for a minute. We'll get through the other stuff as quickly as possible so we can get to the HE1000. All right, this is the HiFiMan HE400i. I know a lot of you know what it is because it's immensely popular on HeadFi. Now, while it's not inexpensive per se, for the performance it gives you, it is a very affordable headphone. Now, even though it's the entry-level planar magnetic in the HiFiMan line, it is, depending on your goals and your budget, a really good headphone for a lot of people as a final headphone. So yeah, entry-level for HiFiMan, but a phenomenal performer, period. Now, if you do want to go higher end, the HE560 is a very popular headphone as well. Now, this is quite a bit more expensive than the HE400i. It is the current flagship of the HiFiMan line. I know right now you're looking at the HE1000 going, no, that's the flagship, but that's not exactly out just yet. So until then, the HE560 is still the flagship of the HiFiMan line. A very fast, detailed, wonderful sounding headphone. That is the HiFiMan HE560. I find it sound very resolving. Again, very fleet of foot, very quick sounding headphone. Love the HE560, so look for that at CanJam SoCal. This is the HiFiMan EF100. This is a little hybrid. That's a tube solid state amp, and it also will drive speakers, but I haven't used it to drive speakers yet. I've only used it to drive headphones. What I like about the EF100 is that it tends to favor more the tube side of that hybrid sound, and I really enjoy that about this because it's quite affordable. So if you're looking for a small footprint, entry-level priced DAC amp combo, and you want a tube sound, the EF100 is a great way to go. Now, I don't use its USB DAC very often. It's good, it works, but I have higher-end USB DACs that I tend to use with this instead. But again, if you're looking for a small footprint, dorm room, office, and a system, and you want something with, again, a tube sound, you want to kind of dabble in that, you want to try it, that's a wonderful amp to start with. This is something that's very new to me. This is the dock. I've seen it before, but I've never had it. This is the dock. You see the HM901 in it. It's supposed to have a 901S in it, but HiFiMan didn't have one available. Now, Fong Bian from HiFiMan was here the other day, and he brought the 901S. I had a chance to play with it, and this is the 901. The 901S is all silver. And it's very, very responsive compared to the 901. It's a significant improvement, the 901S. So that's something I've been wanting, was more responsiveness from controls, from the interface, and startup time. And the 901S seems to provide that. Again, don't have one here now, but I did get to play with it for a little while, and it did seem quite a bit faster. So I'm looking forward to trying that more at CanJam SoCal. Now, the dock is really cool. It works with the 901 or the 901S, and what it does is it allows the 901 or 901S to be more of a desktop component. So it gives you more flexibility in terms of inputs. It has coax in and out. It has the RCA outs, that's the analog outs, so you can use it more, again, like a desktop component. It has optical, and it also has USB in. So there's a USB receiver, but the 901 and the 901S will serve as the DAC, and then they'll pass the analog outs out of these RCAs. Now, if you need more output power, something more akin to a desktop component, you press the buffer button. I don't know that I hit the buffer button because I can't see it, but there's a buffer button. When you activate that, it raises the output level of the 901 or 901S to be more like a desktop component. All right. See, told you we'd get through it fast. Now let's get to what you've probably been staring at the whole time anyway, the HiFiMan HE1000. It's the upcoming new flagship planar magnetic headphone from HiFiMan. Now you can see straight away one of the most noticeable things about it is it's just gigantic. It's a very large headphone. Now, it wasn't made that way just to be visually striking. It was made that way to house some ginormous diaphragms. I mean, I think this thing has bigger diaphragms than any other headphone I'm aware of. So if you look at the grill opening, which is huge compared to my hand, I have small hands, but if you look at that grill opening, the diaphragm is at least as large in terms of surface area as the grill opening here. But it's also the thinnest diaphragm that I'm aware of. So Dr. Fong Bian has a PhD in nanomaterials, nanoscience, and he's applied everything that he knows to this headphone. It is sub-micron thickness. The base material of this diaphragm is sub-micron thickness, making it the thinnest diaphragm that I'm aware of in any kind of headphone, whether planar magnetic or electrostatic. Yes, even thinner than any electrostatic headphone I'm aware of. So the speed of this diaphragm, it just seems, it sounds to me to be just extremely fast, extremely nimble, and it just disappears into the music. It's a comment that I've heard from a few people that I've already listened to it. It's remarkable in that way. If I had to guess, if I had never heard the headphone before and you put it on my head, started playing music, I would have probably guessed it was an electrostatic headphone. Well, almost certainly I would have guessed that it was an electrostatic headphone. Again, it is planar magnetic, just because of that speed and the resolution and the way it just disappears. But the real amazing thing about it also is its bass performance. It has perhaps the best. Right now I can't think of a headphone that has better bass performance that I've heard than the HE1000. It's really physical, really physical. And again, the driver just seems to disappear into the sound. But if you play a track that has a lot of strong bass energy, it conveys it. And I don't mean boosted. I just mean physical, you're there kind of bass. Remarkable stuff. So anyway, it's going to retail for $29.99. I think it's expected to be priced at. Do I think it's worth it? Yeah, if you would let me buy this one right now at that price, I would order it today. But he needs it for the show, so I'm going to wait till they're available in production form. But I think it's worth it because of the performance you get. It's, again, similar to an electrostatic headphone or like an electrostatic headphone, and in some ways, like I said, with the bass, for example, like maybe no other headphone I've heard so far. My Stax SR-09, by the way, I've been asked this, how does it compare to Stax SR-09? My SR-09 is in California having an amp made for it. Anyways, so I'm going to want to do more direct comparisons later when I get it back. But I think it's worth it because you don't have to build a specialty amp for it. Of course, you want to drive it with a good amp, but you don't need to build a purpose-built electrostatic amp for it because it's a planar magnetic headphone. You can drive it with whatever good headphone amps you've got. I've been driving it with the EF6 from HiFiMan, and I just paired it recently with the Chord Hugo TT, and it was sick. Anyways, so check out the HiFiMan HE1000 at CanJam SoCal. It is going to be worth waiting in line for because you probably will have to wait in line to hear it. I blame Sony for getting me into premium headphone audio. Back when I was a teenager, about 3 billion years ago, I scraped together my pennies for a real long time and I bought a headphone just like this. It's a Sony MDR V6. And I was so excited, and it got me into the hobby that eventually became HeadFi, and so I blame Sony for it. Oh, so don't go to CanJam SoCal looking for a Sony MDR V6. This is old. I just wanted to show it to you because it means a lot to me. But I always get so excited because they got me started in all this when Sony exhibits at one of our events, and they will be at CanJam SoCal. Let's take a look at just a couple of things that they're probably going to have at their exhibit. I'm sure they will have more. This is the Sony MDR-1A. The MDR-1 series has been very popular on HeadFi. The MDR-1R, MDR-1R Mark II, and this is the latest, the MDR-1A. It improves on the MDR-1 series to my ears. It uses aluminum-coated liquid crystal polymer drivers. The MDR-1s before that used liquid crystal polymer without the aluminum coating. And they refined the sound. I really enjoy the MDR-1A. It's a really easy headphone to listen to. Detailed enough, but really smooth. You can listen to it for hours. It's also inordinately comfortable. This is probably one of the most comfortable closed headphones I've ever worn. It's just so light, and the ergonomics are just fantastic. So look for the MDR-1A at CanJam SoCal. Look for the new Walkman. This isn't it. This is the NWZX1. This is mine. And if it had a face, an expression, it would be a sad face because there's a new one called the NWZX2 that this one may get replaced by if I listen to it and like it. But at the show, look for the NWZX2. It looks like a pretty improved model of new Walkman, high-res Walkman. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the NWZX2 at CanJam SoCal. Sorry, NWZX1, your time may be limited here. But anyways, here's another cool thing you want to listen to. This is one of my favorite headphones of 2014, but not just of 2014. It's really become one of my favorite headphones. This is the new flagship Sony. Oops, there. Let me get there. There you go. The new flagship Sony MDR Z7. This is a beautiful sounding headphone in my ears. It is not a neutral monitor, but it has a really nice robust bass. It has some sparkle as well and good resolution. It images very, very well to my ears for a closed headphone, probably owing in part to the fact that it has these angled, super huge drivers. They're 70 millimeter drivers, which is the same size, if you're familiar with the Sony MDR MA900, same size as those huge drivers. But this, it's a different driver set, by the way. They're aluminum coated liquid crystal polymer, similar to these, but much larger. And just the sound, the imaging is fantastic. And they're like the MDR1A, but more resolving in terms of being very easy to listen to. I can listen for hours to these. The build quality is also insane. These are actually, I believe these are metal cups, some magnesium or magnesium alloy if I'm not mistaken. And this is all metal as well, and beautiful leather. So this is a gorgeous headphone in terms of construction. It's insanely comfortable, at least as comfortable as that. Maybe because of the bigger size, maybe even an advantage versus the MDR1A. And that's one of my favorite headphones to listen to for extended periods, period. Now, it is hooked up on this table to the Sony PHA-3. Look for this at CanJam SoCal. This is the new flagship portable DAC amp from Sony, and it has balanced drive. So these two mini plugs plug into the balanced output of the Sony PHA-3 and drive this balanced. This is an awesome portable rig. And you've probably, if you read HeadFi a lot, seen it referred to, this particular combo, because it works. Look for this rig at CanJam SoCal. I'm going to have to guess that Sony will have it hooked up in at least one place in their exhibit. So look for the PHA-3 driving the MDR Z7. Hello, very nice combo. Now, you'll see these scads of wire, these cables. This is the Kimber cables. Sony, of all companies, which was very surprising to me because they're such a big company, worked with boutique cable maker Kimber, because I think Sony's now Taka Tsunoda, head of the engineering for the headphone program, and Ray Kimber are friends. And they came together, they designed and released Kimber upgrade cables for the MDR Z7. It's pretty cool that they did that. So a lot of people have been interested that have the Z7 in these upgrade cables. Hopefully they'll have them at CanJam SoCal. And finally, another headphone that they're going to show, and again, this is just a few examples, is an in-ear. This is the new XBA Z5. I believe it's their flagship in-ear right now. I used to have, and still have, the Sony XBA H3, and I replaced it with the Z5. This, to my ears, is a significant improvement. I really enjoy the signature. It's a really good companion to the Z7 over-ears in that it has that robust sound signature, easy to listen to, yet resolving. Image as well for a closed in-ear. Now, it is a fairly big in-ear, kind of like the XBA H3. It sticks out quite far, but as far as large in-ears go, it's attractive, but it sticks out quite far. So anyways, these are just a few examples. You really want to go to Sony's exhibit at CanJam SoCal 2015. Chord Electronics was easily one of the biggest success stories in the industry last year. I believe they sold well over 10,000 Chord Hugo portable DAC amps, which by the way is still my personal reference DAC amp of choice. These are priced at $2,500, and if you sell over 10,000 of them, do the math. That's a success story. Now, every time I check for new posts on HeadFi's forums, the main Chord Hugo thread seems to be at or near the top every time. Now, that's pretty amazing considering it's not a headphone. I actually can't remember the last time, if ever, a source component had such an extended run of high-intensity discussion activity on the forums. Because so many, including me, have found the Chord Hugo to be an outstanding DAC, portable or otherwise, a lot of us have been using it as a desktop DAC amp. Now, Chord realized that, and as many of you know, at CES 2015, they introduced the Chord Hugo TT, TT standing for tabletop. This is the Chord Hugo TT here. The Chord Hugo TT is an evolution of the portable Hugo, but entirely intended for use as a desktop component. Like the portable Chord Hugo, the Hugo TT has a power supply that's designed to separate its DAC circuitry from your power grid. The portable Hugo, even when plugged into a wall, actually powers its circuitry in operation from the battery. Plugging it into the wall keeps the battery charged, but in other words then, the portable Hugo's audio circuitry is never powered directly from the power grid. Now, the Chord Hugo TT is similarly powered using an improved rechargeable battery that has double the capacity of the portable Hugo's battery. But it also adds a bank of supercapacitors that provide 10 million microfarads of energy storage. Now, with all of its battery and supercapacitor power on tap, you can run the Hugo TT on the go. You can run this off its battery away from its wall adapter. But in my opinion, it's just too big and way too heavy for portable use. So if you need portability, definitely go with the portable Hugo. One of the benefits of having greater power on tap is that the Chord Hugo TT's output can operate further into its power envelope biased Class A. Also, the Chord Hugo TT adds full galvanic isolation to the HD USB input all the way up to its 384 kHz limit. This should improve its performances as a USB DAC versus the portable Hugo. Now, while the Hugo TT's DAC still uses the Hugo's custom-coated Spartan 6 FPGA and the 26,000 tap-length filter, I have both here, and all the improvements that I mentioned before, they definitely give the Hugo TT the clear edge in performance over my portable Hugo. Using the HiFiMan HE1000 for most of my direct comparisons so far, the Hugo TT drives the big HiFiMan with greater transparency. It gives it better image object solidity, better teases out the HE1000's bass, which is simply standard setting, and it does these things better than the little Hugo to my ears. The Hugo TT and the HiFiMan HE1000, this combo has actually given me some of the best sound I've heard from any rig in a while. I don't know that you'll be able to join the two. It'd be nice if at CanJam SoCal you could join the HE1000 and the Hugo TT. Again, I don't know that you'll be able to do that, but if you can, do it. Even if you can't, try to get the two together at some point. It's a combo you really should hear. When I'm on the move, and until I find something that sounds better, the portable Chord Hugo will still be my main go-to when I'm looking to maximize sound quality on the go. At my desk, though, if I had to choose between the two, the Chord Hugo tabletop, the TT, gets the clear nod. Now, at this moment, I'm not clear on what the Hugo TT's price is going to be, but the moment we find out, we'll put it on the screen here for you. At CanJam SoCal, Chord will probably also have on hand their new 2Cute DAC. The new 2Cute uses the Hugo's DAC section, but it adds galvanic isolation and is powered only from wall power. Now, even though it does away with batteries and supercapacitors, designer Rob Watts has worked very hard to bring Hugo performance to a simplified desktop DAC. To be clear, though, the 2Cute does not have direct headphone driving ability, so it's what you should look for if you want Hugo performance but without the need for portability or the need to directly drive headphones. Now, I haven't heard the new 2Cute, so I'm looking forward to hearing it at CanJam SoCal just like you for the first time. Now, given its simplified design, I believe the new Chord 2Cute will be quite a bit more affordable than either of its Hugo siblings. Anyway, I have a feeling Chord has another big year ahead of them in 2015, and you should make sure to stop by and visit them at their exhibit at CanJam SoCal. Watching MrSpeakers grow into what it's become has been one of the more interesting company stories in our community the past few years, in my opinion. Dan Clark of MrSpeakers started with his extensively modified Fostex T50RP model called the Mad Dog. With constant upgrades and versioning, all of which he made available to existing customers, Dan felt he'd taken the Fostex T50RP's driver and enclosure platform as far as it could be taken, and as a result, the latest version of the Mad Dog, this is version 3.2, has been the most current Mad Dog for a couple of years now. Now, the Mad Dog is still a very popular headphone in our community, and you can hear the Mad Dog at CanJam SoCal. MrSpeakers' desire to improve the headphone further had run into a wall, though, an obstacle, the T50RP's enclosure. The answer was for Dan to free the T50RP's driver from the T50RP enclosure and to 3D print his own entirely new enclosure. The model that resulted was the Alpha Dog. This is an Alpha Dog here. It's the first 3D printed production headphone, and we actually shot a whole HeadFi TV episode about it when it was released. It's also a very popular headphone in our community. Now, last year, Dan felt he'd gone as far as he could with the Alpha Dog without modifying the driver itself, so he decided to modify the driver itself using a technology called V-planar, a process of knurling the diaphragm to improve performance further. He christened it a new model with the knurled driver called the Alpha Prime, and the Alpha Prime, which will also be at CanJam SoCal for you to listen to, remains MrSpeakers' flagship headphone for about 5 more seconds. Yeah, you probably noticed up here a headphone that you've never seen before, and that's because this is the first time it's been seen, and it is MrSpeakers' new flagship headphone. It's called Ayre, and it's a brand new headphone in every way, entirely unique from the ground up, an entirely new design, an entirely new driver designed entirely in-house also. It's the first open headphone from MrSpeakers, and if you thought their Alpha Dog and Alpha Prime closed headphones imaged well, wait until you hear MrSpeakers' Ayre, which again is an open back headphone. The single-ended planar driver in the MrSpeakers Ayre incorporates the V-planar knurling technology I mentioned earlier, and the Ayre driver's diaphragm has more than twice the radiating surface area of the drivers used in any of MrSpeakers' other headphones, so it's quite a large diaphragm. The Ayre is also very light for a full-size planar magnetic headphone. It weighs only 370 grams or 13.1 ounces. Contributing to its light weight is the memory metal headband. The memory metal used for the Ayre's headband is a titanium alloy called nitinol. It's actually a really cool material. It's lightweight, and perhaps most importantly, because it's a shape memory alloy is what they call it, I think it would be virtually impossible in real-world use to permanently deform the Ayre's headband. It always wants to return to its original shape. Now the Nitinol headband is also very flexible, as you've seen, so its clamping force is moderate. On my head it's super comfortable, and it allows for fast, easy adjustments with that flexibility, but it still stays firmly on my head. The Ayre uses a comfort strap type headband. You can see the leather underneath the Nitinol, and it fits my huge skull just fine. The Ayre that I'm holding here is a prototype, but it should be quite representative of what the final Ayre is going to look like, and also what its construction will feel like. And the construction feels very solid to me. It has machined aluminum baffles, pivots, and gimbals. The ear cups do have some 3D printed internal components, and the grill ring just around the machined aluminum is also 3D printed. Now, as far as sound goes, the Ayre, to my ears, might succinctly be described as a musical monitor. There's enough neutrality about it that I could imagine its use in studios by engineers who are willing to stretch their budgets for headphones like this or Audeze or HiFiMan. Still, and I love this about the Ayre, it's never cold, never sterile. Again, I'd call it a thoroughly musical monitor sound. Now, as for its bass, the bass on the Ayre extends very nice and low, but there's no accentuation to my ears. Still, when called for, there's enough authority down low, though, to keep me very happy with any genre. Also, overall resolution and detail through the entire audio band is exceptional. Now, what's also nice is that the Ayre is the most sensitive of MrSpeakers headphones to date, and any advantage I can get in terms of flexible drivability is always welcome, so I welcome its improved efficiency. This is a very strong competitor at its expected price of $1,499. If you're shopping in the $2,000 and under range of high-end headphones, put the Ayre high up on your list. I'm just really excited about it because it's a brand new headphone, brand new drivers, all internally developed from the ground up, and that's very, very cool. So anyways, make sure to audition the MrSpeakers Ayre, the new flagship, $1,499, CanJam SoCal 2015. Ayre Acoustics is going to be at CanJam SoCal, and I'm happy they're going to be there. I'm actually a fan of Charlie Hansen of Ayre. Been a fan of his for a while. They're going to be showing a cool product that they introduced at CES 2015 in prototype form. It's called the Ayre Acoustics Codex. It's a desktop DAC amp combo. The prototype that I heard at CES 2015 was impressive, and they told me that it's quite a bit better now. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the Codex, and I'm really excited that they are entering this space with a headphone driving product in the Codex. So look for the Codex by Ayre Acoustics at CanJam SoCal. Now, a lot of you probably recognize this yellow device on the table here. That is the Pono player. And the reason it's here for the Ayre Acoustics segment is because Ayre Acoustics developed the electronics inside the Pono player. So I know it's a controversial player. Neil Young is the one behind this. You've probably seen it on the news, both audio news and non-audio press, but it's going to be there. And I wasn't sure what to expect when they sent it to me to let me borrow it. They also sent me these custom Cardis cables so that I could use the Pono player to drive the HD800 and Audeze headphones balanced. But anyways, I wasn't sure what to expect because of all the controversy. But I'll tell you, it's actually a good player. I've been using it with both of these headphones, and it drives them very well. So I was surprised about that. Now the shape for a portable device I'm not exactly crazy about. It's shaped like a Toblerone chocolate bar. Not exactly super pocketable, but I guess it's designed that way because they had components that they wanted to put inside that didn't really fit well in a flat form factor. But anyways, the Pono player sounds better than I expected. I took it to the Southeast Michigan meet, and a lot of people that I let hear it felt the same way. So check out the Pono player. I'm pretty sure they'll have it at the Ayre Acoustics exhibit at CanJam SoCal. If they don't, look for me. I'll bring it along with me. Cavali Audio is an aspirational brand for a lot of headfires. A lot of us have lusted after their amps, but with prices that currently start at $2,850, it's not exactly a family of amps known for wallet friendliness. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm getting a Cavali amp finally, maybe even two. No, my company wasn't just acquired by Google, and I didn't just come into a large inheritance. What did happen is that Alex Cavali developed two new amps that are befitting of the Cavali Audio mark at prices that'll finally open up Cavali's sound to a much larger audience. At CanJam SoCal, Cavali Audio is introducing the Liquid Carbon. The Liquid Carbon is a moderately powered amp, able to output around 1,500 milliwatts into 50 ohms. Will it manhandle your most difficult to drive headphones the way Cavali's Liquid Gold can? No. However, as long as you're not trying to drive something like the HiFiMan HE1000, the Liquid Carbon can give you the magic, detailed, glowing Cavali tone that has emptied a ton of wallets, but at a price that leaves you plenty shy of destitute. I want to be clear that the Liquid Carbon is not a compromised Cavali amp, but one simply optimized for different types of headphones than its larger siblings. If your favorite headphones are of the more sensitive type, the Liquid Carbon is almost certainly going to be the better choice for you than its Cavali stablemates anyway. It also has the lowest noise floor of all the Cavali desktop amps. And if you have any sensitive in-ear monitors, you can do something with them and the liquid carbon that I wouldn't recommend any liquid gold owners do, and that's to plug them in. Even with my most sensitive in-ears, the liquid carbon's noise floor is very low. And by the way, the liquid carbon's output impedance is, I believe, well under an ohm. The one I'm holding here is a prototype liquid carbon on loan from Cavali Audio to provide feedback about. Cavali Audio will be letting you hear the liquid carbon prototypes like this one at CanJam SoCal, so I highly recommend doing so. For years, fans of Cavali Audio have been asking for a portable Cavali amp. At CanJam SoCal, another new Cavali amp will be unveiled, and yes, it's the portable we've been hoping for from them. Cavali sent me this test amp to evaluate, and this one has the Cavali Portable's amp circuit, but not the battery and charger circuit, so I've had to keep it plugged into the wall. Now, even plugged into the wall, it is very quiet with my most sensitive in-ears. I've been using it most with the JH Audio Layla. This is actually the Roxanne. I've been using it with that, and also the Noble K10, and this is the K10 Prestige. And I've been enjoying it with those in-ears immensely. Now, just for grins, I wanted to see how it would run the HE1000 and the LCD-X, and I was very surprised to find it actually sounds very good with those headphones. Will it be my reference amp for the HE1000 and LCD-X? No. Would I gladly make those pairings in a pinch, if that's all I have on hand? Without hesitation. The Cavali portable amp outputs around 350 milliwatts into 50 ohms, so there's certainly enough to get these big headphones making music, and more than enough to manhandle efficient in-ears and most other portable headphones. As with the liquid carbon, the Cavali portable amp's output impedance should come in at well under an ohm. I should also mention that this is just a prototype circuit board in a generic case to hold it all together. It'll come in a nicer chassis and it'll be a bit bigger to accommodate the battery and the charging circuit. Now here's something that's very important to mention about both of these new amps. The liquid carbon and the yet-to-be-named Cavali Portable are both fully discrete designs. There are no op amps in the signal path of either of these amps. All of Cavali Audio's big amps are fully discrete designs in order to achieve what he was trying to do to scale the sound, the performance of his full-size amps to these smaller, more moderately powered designs. He said it was only doable by sticking to fully discrete designs in these two. The challenge of getting these fully discrete circuits to be quiet enough to use with my sensitive in-ear monitors took a lot of engineering, a lot of effort. I don't think I've ever used any other fully discrete amps as quiet as the liquid carbon and the Cavali Portable. For example, my Fideer MH334, which seems to be able to dive into the noise floor of just about any amp, discrete or otherwise, was really not able to touch much of a noise floor at all in either of these. Cavali did an outstanding job with both of these circuits. When you look at the circuit boards of these amps, you can see that there's a lot more going on inside than you're probably used to seeing in amps like these, and certainly in portable amps. I don't even think I have another portable, fully discrete amp, and I've got a lot of portable amps here. Though Alex Cavali wasn't ready yet to give me a firm price on these new models, the tentative prices he has discussed with me, the price ranges I know he's looking at for each, will make both of these amps insane bargains. I already asked Alex to put me in the system to buy one of each. They're fantastic little amps. Now, kudos to Alex Cavali for doing these affordable, fully discrete amps the Cavali way. Make sure to stop by their exhibit at CanJam SoCal. I'm serious. These are fantastic little amps. Make sure to stop by the exhibit. Noble is going to be at CanJam SoCal, and I know a lot of you are familiar with Noble. They make some of the finest custom and universal fit in-ear monitors in the world. They're going to probably have their entire line there, but I'm going to urge you to make sure to check out, even if it's out of your budget, because they are so expensive, the Noble Prestige line. That is their flagship line. It's based on the K10, so you can get the sound of the Prestige in the K10. But if you're familiar with the wizard, John Moulton, over at Noble, he makes some of the most beautiful looking in-ears as well as some of the best sounding ones. And the Prestige is their flagship line. They're carved from solid media. I'm not going to get into too much detail here. I'm going to show you some photos so you can see what we're talking about. They are absolutely beautiful, and they are very expensive because they take a tremendous amount of work to do. So anyways, check out Noble's in-ear monitors at CanJam SoCal, but make sure, even just to ogle, to check out the Prestige line. Now, this was a big surprise to me from Noble, but I love it. It's called the Noble BTS, which stands for Bluetooth System. It's an accessory that Bluetooth enables the headphone plugged into it. That's simple. And this is a prototype, by the way. The production model will have different colored buttons. Now, instead of creating a single wireless IEM model with built-in componentry, Noble decided on a modular solution to enable their entire line of IEMs. You just pair it with your phone, Plug your in-ear monitor into the BTS and voila, wireless super high-end IEM in this case, because I pair it with the Prestige. The Noble BTS will come with a short Noble IEM compatible cable. It'll only be 15 inches long so that you can essentially hang the BTS off the cable like a pendant, and then you'll Bluetooth enable your Noble wired in-ear monitor. They didn't have the short cables ready yet, but I'm looking forward to having the short cables so that I can run my Prestiges with this as a pendant. That would be cool, and wirelessly. The BTS weighs only 10 grams, provides at least 7 hours of continuous music playback or talk time, and in typical usage that should last an entire day for most. The BTS employs Bluetooth 4.0 and aptX and has an omnidirectional microphone with push-button controls so you can talk on the phone without taking your in-ears out. Its wireless range is rated for up to 10 meters or 33 feet. Charging is accomplished via micro USB. Because it's designed by a company that makes multi-armature in-ears, you're probably wondering what the BTS's output impedance is. Well, it's less than 1 ohm according to Noble, so there's absolutely nothing to worry about there. The BTS supports multi-point, so you can maintain connection with 2 devices at once. It also supports advanced push-button commands like redialing the last number and other commands. Yes, I love that the BTS wirelessly enables my Noble Prestige. It's cool to have it wirelessly for music and as a wireless headset. What's also neat is that it wirelessly enables other wired headphones. For example, my favorite exercise headphones, they don't come in wireless form, but with the BTS it does now. Anyway, check out the Noble BTS at Noble Audio's exhibit at CanJam SoCal. In case you haven't seen my report from CES 2015 on the forums, one of my favorite HeadFi related stories from Las Vegas was United Science's 3D ear scanning technology. It's absolutely brilliant. I think that in order for custom-fit in-ear headphones to gain in popularity, making the buying process more user-friendly and quicker is critically important. Today, if you want to buy a custom-fit in-ear monitor, you'll most likely need to visit a qualified audiologist to get silicone impressions of your ears first. I mean, when someone is shooting physical material into my ears, I would seriously hope that person is very well trained and qualified to do it, as I've got my precious eardrums all up in there. At CES, United Sciences was demonstrating their 3D ear scanning technology, and I think it's an amazing step toward making custom-fit earphones more accessible, more popular. First of all, the only thing it shoots into your ears is laser. Also, almost anyone can be quickly trained to use United Sciences eFit scanners to safely and accurately capture a whole ear scan. So, a store's part-time employees, for example, should be able to safely capture accurate 3D ear scans with minimal training. It's amazing, and you'll be able to see eFit 3D ear scanning in action, perhaps while getting your own ears scanned by them at CanJam SoCal. Now, if you want to know where to find United Sciences exhibit, look for Ultimate Ears, as they're going to be exhibiting together at CanJam SoCal. Theirs is a cool collaboration, as Ultimate Ears is 3D printing custom in-ear monitors now, which we've covered in another episode of HeadFi TV. And so together with United Sciences eFit, you can order Ultimate Ears custom-fit IEMs that are completely digital from scan to print. I had one pair of Ultimate Ears in-ear reference monitors made this way, and they fit like all my other test sets of the exact same model. Here's actually the pair that they did for me. It's pretty remarkable stuff. Now, Ultimate Ears will have their very groovy live demo system also at the show. I've used live demo before, and it's perhaps the best, fastest, easiest way I've yet used to compare different in-ear models. What the live demo system allows you to do is to put on a single set of demo in-ears, and then, using a tablet touch interface, you can audition the entire line of Ultimate Ears customs through that one set of ears without any need to swap earpieces. It's an awesome way to do quick back and forth comparisons and easily hear the differences between different models. It's very helpful, very cool. Make sure to visit Ultimate Ears and United Sciences at CanJam SoCal 2015. They'll be together. You can check out eFit and live demo. Some of you veteran headfiers may recognize the headphone I'm holding here. It's the AKG K340, and it's been discontinued for eons now. I have the K340 here because it was a very unique headphone, an electrostatic dynamic hybrid. And it's a very complex headphone, and it has its flaws in terms of its complexity, durability. Its comfort strap elastic died years ago on me, and its sound even is, quirky. Anyways, but I love the sound overall. I've had a lot of fun with the AKG K340 over the years, and despite some quibbles, I wasn't sure I'd ever see another hybrid electrostatic dynamic headphone, but I'm glad to report that something of its breed, and something very good, and a whole lot better sounding than my beloved K340 is coming, and it'll be at CanJam SoCal. It's called the Enigma Acoustics Dharma D1000, and yes, it's an electrostatic dynamic hybrid, and even though it shares the classification with the K340, it's definitely a very different headphone than the old AKG. Enigma Acoustics showed the Dharma at CES 2015, and I missed it there. The impressions of it that I've seen so far have been very positive, to say the least, and now that I've heard this prototype, I can understand why. Enigma Acoustics is known in the audio world for their Sopranino electrostatic super tweeter, which they also use in their electrostatic hybrid Mythology M1 speakers, which, by the way, you'll be able to hear in Questyle's loudspeaker room at CanJam SoCal. Now, for the electrostatic part of the Dharma, Enigma Acoustics uses their technology from their electrostatic Sopranino. Like the Sopranino, the electrostatic element in the Dharma uses Enigma Acoustics SB-ESL technology, which stands for self-biased electrostatic. The electrostatic high-frequency element in the Dharma can reach 50 kHz according to Enigma Acoustics. The Dharma's electrostatic element is augmented by a 50mm dynamic driver made of Wagami paper. Now, Enigma Acoustics says this dynamic driver extends down to 15 Hz and then seamlessly transitions to the electrostatic element using a phase-coherent first-order slope. Though I love my old K340, I can hear its distinct elements, dynamic and electrostatic. I love the sound, but I just wouldn't describe its sound as seamless and perfectly integrated. I've also heard many models of dynamic electrostatic loudspeakers. I haven't heard the Enigma Acoustics one yet, but most of the speakers of that type that I have heard haven't been able to achieve what I'd call perfectly seamless integration either. Now, because of these things, I had my doubts before actually hearing the Enigma Acoustics Dharma. Well, I've been listening to it, and this is a prototype, by the way. I have to say, wow, this is a special headphone. Enigma Acoustics have really done a fantastic job integrating the two driver types. I would never have blindly listened to these and guessed that there were two entirely different driver types going on. Now again, much as I love the old K340, there's absolutely no comparing these two, despite what they have in common conceptually, and that's about all they have in common is the concept as far as I'm concerned. The Enigma Acoustics Dharma is just alien technology leaps and bounds past the old AKG, just based on the sound. Enigma Acoustics says the Dharma D1000 sensitivity is 95 decibels, nominal impedance is 26 ohms. As you may have already figured out just from its appearance, it's an open back around the ear design. Now the MSRP for the Dharma D1000 will be $1,200. Does this prototype suggest to me a headphone worth that price? Yes, definitely. It's a price range with some seriously fantastic choices from several manufacturers, and Enigma Acoustics will definitely be one of them. I think with this model, they're armed for bear. Now, you've got to hear the Dharma D1000 by Enigma Acoustics at CanJam SoCal, so make sure to stop by their exhibit. Enigma Acoustics will also be showing its relatively heavy Athena A1 single-ended triode vacuum tube hybrid headphone amp. This amp uses ECC82, I got to put that down, that's heavy. Anyways, it uses ECC82 12AU7 tubes driven in pure Class A mode, which provides the foundation for its single-ended front end. Now, a full-wave C6A4 vacuum tube rectifier is then employed, followed by an LC smoothing filter. The output stage is a Class A MOS BJT hybrid output stage. Now, according to Enigma Acoustics, the output stage exhibits very low output impedance, though they don't specify the number, and claims it'll work well with headphones ranging in nominal impedance from 16 to 600 ohms. The Enigma Acoustics Athena A1 amp will be priced at $1,500, and they'll be driving their Dharma D1000 headphones, so make sure to hit the Enigma Acoustics exhibit at CanJam SoCal. Every time I hear the name Sound Blaster, I'm reminded of a much younger me picking out sound cards while I spec'd out computers. When I met Joseph Lee from Creative Labs at CES 2015 and he introduced me to Creative Labs' current generation Sound Blaster headphone driving products, both portable and desktop, I was absolutely thrilled to have Sound Blaster back in my life. Well, I haven't yet had a chance to spend time with their portable products. I've been using the Sound Blaster X7. I have the white limited edition version of it. The Sound Blaster X7 is a funky desktop DAC amp combo that'll drive not only your headphones, but also loudspeakers. Now, to drive loudspeakers, the X7's 100-watt Class D digital amplifier can output up to 50 watts per channel into 4 ohms. And I've been using it to drive one of my pairs of KEF LS50 loudspeakers, and it's a good pairing for near-field desktop use. But I wouldn't turn to the X7 to drive the LS50s to fill an entire room. For driving headphones, the X7's built-in amp is designed to drive almost any kind of headphone and has low output impedance, 2.2 ohms for the standard X7 and only 1 ohm for the X7 limited edition. Now, in addition to its lower output impedance, the Sound Blaster X7 shows its headphone prowess another way. It actually comes with a headphone stand that sticks right out of the X7's chassis. I detached it so it wouldn't get in the way of my face for the video. Now, the X7 was designed to go from more dedicated audiophile use to serious gamer use, depending on how you choose to use its ridiculously stacked feature set at any given moment. I'm not going to go over all its features, but here are a few highlights. The front panel has 2 beam-forming microphones designed to focus more on your voice while attenuating ambient noise. It has Bluetooth with aptX and NFC. It's MFI certified for direct DAC use with iPhones, iPads, iPods. It has audio presets for gaming, and speaking of gaming, it's compatible with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It has features that make use of its extensive digital signal processing, or DSP, including voice quality enhancement during gaming, audio restoration, effects processing, and Dolby Digital 5.1 decoding. The X7's DAC, based on the Burbrom PCM 1794, is 24.192 capable, including 88.2 and 176.4. For those who like to fiddle with sound customization, the X7 also allows for op-amp swapping. The X7 is such a cool device. I've used it for gaming, movie and video watching, and of course, music playback. Now make sure to check it out at CanJam SoCal. The X7, though, isn't all Creative Labs will be showing. I have to imagine they'll also be bringing the new Sound Blaster portable headphone amp line, including the $50 Sound Blaster E1, the $130 Sound Blaster E3 DAC amp combo, and the $200 Sound Blaster E5 high-res USB DAC amp. The E3 and E5 support Bluetooth connectivity, with the E5 having aptX support. Now, it's possible Creative Labs will have all these things and more at CanJam SoCal, so make sure to stop by their exhibit. Oh, and by the way, welcome back into my life, Sound Blaster. Because I'm such a baller, I sometimes enjoy listening to music with 7 Magico Q3 speakers that would cost you $136,500, not including the subwoofer. If I'm feeling particularly indulgent, I may reach for some $325,000 per pair Acapella Spharon speakers. No need to be jealous, as you can do the same thing, the same way I'm doing it, using Darren Fong Audio's Out of Your Head software. All kidding aside, Out of Your Head was created by Darren Fong Audio by actually going to listening rooms with the speakers in them and in essence actually recording, capturing mathematically the speaker and room acoustics using microphones and using DSP or digital signal processing and some serious computational power. I know I'm oversimplifying this, but anyway, once captured, the speaker and room acoustics can be applied to whatever sound material, music, movies, whatever you're playing back on your computer, to simulate any number of listening rooms and speaker systems that Darren Fong has captured the acoustics for. Now, while of course the experience isn't perfect, you can experience some pretty serious out-of-head imaging from your headphones, which is challenging to accomplish, as well as simulated acoustics from all of those captured rooms and speakers. It's very impressive and very clever. Out of Your Head is priced at $149 and comes with 1 speaker preset of your choice. If you want to buy additional speaker presets like the Magico or the Acapellas, those are priced at $25 per preset. You can download a free trial at fongaudio.com or even listen to a pre-rendered sample there. Of course, if you're going to be at CanJam SoCal, he's going to have an exhibit there, so make sure to try Out of Your Head at Darren Fong Audio's exhibit. Questyle will be exhibiting at CanJam SoCal, and I have a feeling that their excellent full-size DACs and amps may have a fight on their hands for attention because Questyle is going to be showing the much-anticipated Questyle QP1 portable digital audio players. Now, borrowing from its full-size Questyle siblings, the QP1 players will incorporate Questyle's current mode amplification. Questyle's current mode headphone amps have been very well received, and I briefly auditioned a couple of them at CES and was impressed. So it'll be fun to see how it translates for use in their digital audio players. Now, I'm looking forward to hearing how the QP1 with the current mode amp sounds directly driving a wide variety of headphones in comparison to my current favorite digital audio players from Astel and Kern, HiFiMan and FIO, which I have scattered on the table here. Now, the QP1 I'm holding here is a non-working prototype that I asked to borrow just to show you how it looks in the hand, how it looks compared to other devices, and to show its chassis build quality, which I was immensely impressed with at CES 2015. Now, this chassis should look pretty close to what'll ship. Its style reminds me of a sort of super advanced next generation iPod Classic, and actually I believe these are going to be made at Foxconn, where Apple gets its iPhones and iPods manufactured. And the build quality again of this QP1 prototype chassis is outstanding. Now, there will be 2 QP1 models, the QP1 and the QP1R. The QP1 will be priced at $599. The QP1R will be $899. The operating system in these players is built on Linux with custom software written specifically for the QP1s. Both will support PCM playback up to 24.192 and DSD playback, including double DSD. Both will use Questyle's True DSD technology, which, if I understand correctly, does not use DOP, which is DSD over PCM, but instead directly decodes DSD without it being packed into PCM. Anyway, I look forward to hearing DSD playback using the QP1. The QP1 will have 16 gigabytes of built-in storage. The QP1R will have 32 gigs. I believe this is twice what they'd initially spec'd at CES 2015, so that's cool. Now, of course, even 32 gigs can disappear quickly when you're storing 2496, 24192, and DSD files, so both models have 2 microSD card slots for a maximum expanded total of 272 gigs in the QP1 and 288 gigs in the QP1R. Both the QP1 and QP1R's DAC sections are built around the Cirrus Logic CS4398, which is also used in Astel and Kern's AK240, by the way. I should also mention that the output impedance of both the QP1 and QP1R is very low, only 0.19 ohm according to Questyle, so that's cool. Other than the difference in internal storage, the only difference between the QP1 and QP1R that I'm currently aware of is that the QP1R, according to Questyle, uses hand-selected premium parts, which I'm assuming is to raise its performance above the base model. Now, both the QP1 and QP1R will be available in silver and gold. They expect to start accepting pre-orders in late April, by the way, 2015, with normal stock and shipping happening around June. Now, make sure to stop by Questyle's exhibit to be the first ever to hear the QP1 and the QP1R by Questyle. Questyle will actually have 2 exhibits at CanJam SoCal, so make sure to find them both. In addition to their personal audio exhibit, Questyle will also be in one of the CanJam speaker and desktop audio rooms, and there they're going to be demonstrating a wireless audio system that in concept seems ridiculously cool, and I can't wait to hear it. As I understand it, there's something called a Questyle T2 transmitter that accepts optical, coax, and USB digital inputs and supports up to 24.192. Using 5.2 and 5.8 gigahertz bands, the T2 transmits directly to wireless monoblock amplifiers. At the show, they're going to use the monoblock versions, which I'll get to in a second. Now, from there, of course, you need speaker cables to hook speakers up to those amps, but given the configuration, I imagine you can keep those cables pretty short. Now, there are 2 Questyle wireless amp models, the R100, which is a 50 watt per channel stereo wireless amp, and the R200, which is a 200 watt monoblock wireless amp. So, of course, you'd need 2 R200s for stereo, by the way. So I believe at CanJam, again, they'll be using the monoblock R200s, and they'll be driving the very cool Enigma Acoustics M1 hybrid electrostatic full range speakers. So, yeah, that's going to be a cool exhibit, and I can't wait to hear it. Make sure to demo that setup. Again, stop by both of Questyle's exhibits at CanJam SoCal 2015. So that's the conclusion to our CanJam SoCal 2015 preview, and as lengthy as the previews have been, they are again just a tiny sampling of what you can hear and see at CanJam SoCal, which again is happening March 28th and 29th, 2015 at the West and South Coast Plaza Hotel in Costa Mesa, California. And in addition to all the exhibitors and all the gear they're bringing, there's going to be seminars covering a lot of cool topics, so make sure to check the show schedule to see what might be of interest to you. Probably all the seminars will be of interest to you, so check that out. But the most important thing, of course, is the gathering of friends that we have at CanJam. People from all over the world, from all over this community, all over the world are going to be there, and that is the most important and best thing about CanJam. So it's going to be quite a party and quite a celebration. And again, it looks like it's shaping up to be the biggest headphone audio event in North America ever. So let's all be a part of it. Join us. Go to canjam.org for more information. It's not too late. I hope to see you there.